situated. The right half of the screen, the blueprint layout, that is all the orthopedic exam rooms. So this half of the floor are going to be occupied by the orthopedic surgeons. Now, they actually asked us before even imaging 3.0 initiative that they wanted us the imaging to be integral part of taking care of orthopedic patients. So instead of the patients coming in, going to the orthopedic surgeon in one room, and then have to walk down 2 flights of stairs to go to get the X-ray, or maybe go to an entirely different building to get their MRI. They wanted to ensure that the patients can really just get all their MSK related problems solved on the same floor without having to move to different places. So it really is a patient-centric design. And so as part of it, we were asked to be situated within this blueprint. And here you can see, for example, 3T magnet and CT on the same floor as the orthopedic surgeons. And these are the radiography units and 2 MSK ultrasound rooms. Now, as being a person who's really interested in reading rooms, my eyes immediately afterwards went for where is our reading room going to be. And they showed us this room that is very elongated, okay, and it's not very big. And if you look, they had us, be stationed in this one long table, and all the seats are just one seat, just wide enough for one chair to go in. And they had us on this sort of an L-shaped configuration, which is an ergonomic no-no because it forces you to turn around constantly to look at the images, then look at your either radiology information screen or your dictation speech recognition screen. So this is when I became more actively involved in the reading room design and overall layout, in addition to the patient flow. And the second rendition gave us this version, which is not much bigger at all. It's actually smaller if you look at the square footage side. And if you look, they gave us a T-shaped room. So this is pretty much when I told them that reading room design can't be an afterthought. A reading room, just because it's not actually patient room, patient area, just because we're radiologists, doesn't mean that it should be an afterthought, just looking at carving out the very last space that they have and trying to put the radiologist in. So I had to put a lot of argument and fight for the space. And you can see from the architecture drawing that they have a coffee table here. So they really don't understand how our workflow is. So this is why radiologist involvement, even to the design of where is going to be the location of the reading room, as well as the layout, is extremely important. So this is actually the latest version. It's not as big as I would like, but this is the biggest space that we're able to give us. And with that space, we wanted to make sure that we can fit in 12 workstations dedicated just for the MSK radiology section. And with this, we were able to have ample space between the workstations, which will allow the referring physicians to come in because they're right there on the same floor and be able to consult with us right there without being crowded. And we have these monitors on the sides that are going to allow us to use it as dashboards to be able to make sure that we are constantly be productive and be as efficient as possible. So in addition, some of the additional elements that one needs to consider when looking at the reading room design are, in addition to the furnitures that are going inside, you have to think about the noise control. So there are various ways you can control the noise level in the reading room, such as you can use side or partition panels. You can have these wall panels that are sound absorbing. And even the ceiling elements can be modified and make sure that they have noise reduction elements into it. In fact, if you look at these panels and ceilings, you can actually look for something called NRC, noise reduction coefficient, and those numbers will actually tell you how much noise reduction they'll be able to provide. And you can even have, things like white noise generators that can be used to control the noise. Now, the AC or HVAC units are actually very important, not only because these computers, you can imagine, we have actually 12 workstations, but each of them will have 2 CPUs. So 24 computers in that room is going to generate a large amount of heat. So AC is an extremely important element when you think about the reading room design. But in addition to that, some of the things that you have to think about is that you can't just put an AC unit on the wall and expect it to cool the thing. It may cool the room, but it may generate a lot of noise. So you have to think about how the AC is built into the room that may be different than other rooms to make sure that the noise is controlled. And lighting is also very important. You can't just have direct lights that are coming from the ceilings. In fact, all the new reading rooms that we're designing right now have direct lights only to be used by the cleaning crew. And all the lights will be indirect lights coming from the backside of each workstation. And I'll go a little bit more in detail why that's important later. And the flooring too. You will notice that a lot of your reading rooms, if you go and look at it, you'll see that a lot of them have carpets. And some of our older reading rooms also have the same thing. The thing is that you will know that a lot of radiologists actually eat right in, on their workstations. And they are drinking coffee and they're drinking drinks and so forth. So unless you have a cleaning crew that can really keep the carpets clean, chances are your carpets are going to become very filthy very soon. So you definitely want to also keep in mind what kind of flooring to use for the reading room. So when it comes to optimizing reading room, it's not just the location. First of all, you have to think about where it should be inside the building. And then within it, you have to think about the layout and as well as the design. And within the design elements, there are other things that I mentioned, including things like noise reduction that you have to consider. So it's more than just simply a nice looking workstations when it comes to optimizing the reading room. So beyond the reading room, you also have to think about, especially if you're coming from an academic place, you have to think about different office spaces for your radiologists. You definitely don't want them traveling too far to go to their offices. Because that also affects their productivity, if you think about it. And also, if you're going to participate as an active, role in overall coordinated patient care, say with orthopedic surgeons in our case, you want to have joint conferences with them so that you can learn from each other. Therefore, conference room that can handle two large groups should be part of the overall design that should be thought about in addition to the reading room. So the lessons that have been learned, you can imagine that if I weren't very proactive, I would have inherited a very elongated reading room with very poor furniture as my reading room, and that's what I would have gotten. So being involved, being engaged, and being proactive is very important to make sure that your reading rooms are optimized. So in conclusion, reading room design must support a diverse set of operational needs, which include interactions with referring physicians, technologists, and support staff in the era of Imaging 3.0. And the reading room design really should enable highest levels of productivity while supporting radiologists' ability to impact delivery of care. And reading room design, layout, location must be optimized to succeed in today's dynamic environment. And ergonomics is an integral part of reading room design.